Alrighty then, g'day guys and welcome. My name's Michael, I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. What am I doing? I'm doing some world building. Yep, that's right, doing some world building. Why? Because, I'm in that stage where I'm always procrastinating doing it. And I was like, oh, you know what? If I do it as a stream, I'll have to do it. So I quickly banged together this very ugly layout. And I've got my little Hero Forge guy going. Mostly because yeah, this is a thing. Wolvesy plays, good to see you. Welcome in. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. Marcus, good to see you, but I hope that I will see you in, well rested in a little bit for our game, later on today. I can also see we have a Hester coming in. Happy New Year, my dear friend. How are you? I hope you celebrated well as well, my dear. I hope that I hope that you celebrated with all of the good, amazing, and wonderful things. And thank you for the 35-month subscription. So what are we doing? Yeah, I mean, not many people know this because man, I like everyone knows I do a lot of like pre-written adventures and stuff like that. So I actually have my own world. I've been building my own setting for the last decade, on and off, with lots of elements to it. I've got like such a vivid idea of exactly what my world is like in my head. I just never really take the time to consolidate it and put it down. And every time I do, I kind of realize that it's changed so much since I first put it down that I, need to come back to it over and over and over again. And I don't know, it's just, for me, it's like, world building is like one of those things. I'm always procrastinating. So here I am to do some world building. So we're going to do some world building, listen to some tunes, chat about RPGs and the like. And if you guys have any questions or if you guys have any ideas, throw them out there. I can't guarantee that I'll use them. Generally speaking, common practice is that if you do suggest something, it goes under the umbrella of like, it's free, what do you call it? Like free ideas. If you want to throw stuff out there, throw stuff out there. But do so, with the regards that this is my own setting. At the moment, I don't profit from it, but if ever I do have an intention to do so, which I really don't, to be honest, then yeah, this is just how it works. So yeah, you love world building? That's awesome. That's awesome. It's a necessary thing. It's like brushing your teeth for me. I don't. It's not something I'd sit aside to enjoy, but it is something that I do. And I hope I do really well. I mean, I think I do it really well. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Who knows? Maybe I'm just being egotistical. Let's put on some music. Oh, there we go. That's nice. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So what can I tell you guys about my world? Well, my world is called Aulestria. Aulestria is a world that was founded with the concept of true naming. Back in the days of yester gaming, I used to play Dungeons & Dragons 3.5, and one of the types of magic that was super rare and very difficult to come by was true naming, and it always struck me as just a great and wonderful type of magic that I really wanted to focus on for my own world. So true naming is kind of the quintessential part of it. We'll go into the story and the history in a little bit, but the other thing that I really love is food. Everyone knows this about me. I love the idea of fantasy food and things like that. And so this world taps into my love letter to fantasy food and that type of thing. So in addition to what we normally understand as magic in fantasy games, I also have two types of magic, which are, of course, font magic, which is magic that uses kind of a true naming mechanic. It's also rune magic or language or magic of literature and script. And I also have consumption magic, which is magic that is about consuming, so taking power from something and feeding it into yourself. Vampires, for example, are a monster that thrives off blood magic, which is a type of consuming magic. So that's kind of what we look at. So those are the major elements to my world. I've played here a couple of times. There are a few games on my live play channel, Minion Quest, Sirens and Silver, and a few of my one-shots that have all taken place here in this world. But yeah, I'm hoping that we can fiddle around and see where everything's at, kind of consolidate some ideas, get rid of some bad ones that I don't like anymore, and yeah, just have a good time. I relish questions, by the way, so as I'm writing and doing stuff, please ask questions. Let me know what you think, and yeah, share your opinion. This is a very open forum. So I guess the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing an overview of the basic timeline of my world. I have all the different ages and stuff, but I haven't delved into them into too much detail, but I kind of know what I want from each of these ages. Mostly it's because in these ages, it's usually like kind of a mysterious history, so I've never really fleshed them out in too much detail. But yeah. Sounds like a good plan there. I'm always changing things in my world since I have 2 currently going. Yeah, there you go. See? Yeah. Okay, so basic timeline. Here we go. Let's kick into this, shall we? So, the basic timeline, the Age of Darkness. In a time before the time before the creation of all things. So this is my first age. This is where there is nothing. Monsters known as the Nether reigned supreme in the endless darkness. In the endless void. So the Nether, for me, are kind of like the creatures that came before. Where you think of like your Call of Cthulhu stuff, or you know, like the Clipoth, or whatever, that is for me what we refer to as the Nether. The god, whose name has been redacted, this is because he has written himself out of history for various reasons, found themselves aware within the darkness. So there's theories that they themselves are a Nether, or that they themselves were founded by a wish or an idea. In actuality, for me, this particular deity, this particular entity, is the GM. Whoever the GM happens to be, that is who you are. This is your self-insert into my world. You were this entity. If you want your version of this particular deity to be evil and malicious, then they are evil and malicious. If they are good and kindly and love heroism and stuff, then yeah, heroism prevails over the lands. The idea behind this was because the GM themselves hold so much power over this world, yet are invisible, that's what I wanted to tap into for the person who breathed life into this world. No matter who's playing it, the redacted god, this individual, that is the game master. The invisible god, the unseen. But I haven't found a name to name him yet. By uttering the first words, creation was born, and the Nether took offense to it. Before the first spark of creation could be snuffed out, however, the redacted god uttered the word of creation. Now, the word of creation gave birth to the cosmos. So this is what we consider to be the outer realms. So the elemental planes, the heaven, hell, all these sorts of places, they didn't exist, but now there was a space for them to exist, and that was what the cosmos is. Very godlike, yeet self out of existence. I do like that though. It's a lot of mystery and gives the DM more freedom to choose what kind of figure they could be. Absolutely. For me, it's also about understanding genre, right? So if you want my world to be a genre of like a horror genre, great, fantastic. Then the redacted god was that was their nature. They were someone who had a leaning towards horror stories, or if they were a hopeless romantic, star-crossed lovers, and romance prevails over the lands, that kind of thing. So it is both my way to sort of give GMs that kind of freedom, but also also kind of explain certain genres in areas. Also why they would differ from game to game. Yeah. Okay, the Age of Creation. Yeah, thank you. I liked that idea. There we go. All right, so come on. In the Age of Creation, redacted, began to build upon the cosmology, beginning with the raw essences of the universe. Light, dark. Light, dark elements. And, ooh, I need to check on this actually. Let me go back to, where's my gods? There we go. Yada yada yada. So these are my old notes here. Rainover and Lindal and magic. There we go. So that's it. Yeah. Light, dark, magic. And who is next? Light, dark. Light, dark, magic, and the elements. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Light, dark, magic, and elements. Now, originally that was what I had intended. However, I'm leaning on more of what Pathfinder did with their own style of magic, which is arcane, primal, occult, and divine. So, I'm thinking about changing that. Created the Sons of Aulestria. In doing so, this gave birth to the goddess Rainova. So let's also change this color here so that we know that we are referring to a god. We'll give it a golden hue. There we go. So the goddess Rainova, goddess of the sun, light, love, and something. Sunlight and love. We'll give it that for now. Okay, because I've got more stuff on her later on. To pierce the darkness in the places that Rainova could not reach. Adapted, created, first orb. Of solid earth, which would later be referred to as the moon. To safeguard the night, the god Lindal was born. And we have another god there. Go. I should also revert that to that is, yeah, Rainover and Lindal. Done. Okay. Quick question when you have a moment. What was the inspiration for the world? Like layout, shape, design things. Personally, D&D's Frozen Trail homebrew took inspiration from the UK and Nordic states. Ooh, very nice. Good question. I think my inspiration has definitely come from the idea that I don't like the idea of segregation, right? Like in general, like when it comes to my settings and things. I enjoy the fact that there are kingdoms for elves and for dwarves and stuff like that, but I've played in so many systems where there is such a hard line between species and races and people and lands, and it feels like it feels like there isn't really much like genuine immersion into a place. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a world where everything kind of bloomed from a different origin, and you can almost see those blooms from different locations, which we'll explain in a little bit in the Tarrasque Fall age, which is coming up right there. Because that was the quintessential event that inspired my world. Because the Tarrasque is one of my favorite monsters. Not my favorite, but one of my tops. And I was like, well, if I want something to blossom and bloom from the various places in my world, I want it to be from something that I really enjoy. So for this, it was the Tarrasque. And you can kind of see on my map as well. Let me just move the map around a little bit. There are several areas with these bright red marks on them. And there is very good reason for these red marks to be out in the world. So yeah. Aside from that, there's a lot of different cultural inspirations as well. Like for example, in the Omen Lands, there's a lot of like down the southern side of the Omen Lands. We have like a lot of like Europe and stuff like that kind of inspirations. As we get further north, it's more Germany, Russia kind of, and Norway. There's a very, very blighted landscape here that was damaged during a war against some undead and stuff, which ended up blighting a lot of the lands in the Restless Hills and the Mockingbird Plains. For me, that's kind of in the more like Middle East, Saudi Arabia kind of areas. The Craglands, which are like kind of like an undescribed rocky location. This kind of feels a little Australia-ish, the Craglands, but so too does the Stoutlands as well. These areas here kind of have that very like kind of mountainous, you know, kind of like drier kind of areas. Swampy lands along the Savage Coast. That's just, you know, I don't know. I haven't really built that too much. Just jungles and swamps and beaches and stuff. And then the Talvaron Empire, which is kind of like your dark fantasy, you know, like if you want to play in like a really dark fantasy kind of setting, the Talvaron Empire is like one where they have accidentally over-harvested and now need to invade other places or they risk annihilation. Yeah, there's also Japanese influences. So for example, here in Kashina, this is where my animal people are from. Long story short, they're effectively Fae. And what happened is when they were first experimenting with the notion of life, they created the fairy kind, and they also anthropomorphized some of the animals and creatures that were there. And this is the kingdom that they did that in. So Kashina was one of the first, as well as Wilderon, which is this area here, which is kind of like your Sheriff of Nottingham, like kind of like, you know, Sherwood adventure. And then pretty much, I think I was watching I think I might have gotten the inspiration like from Game of Thrones. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But there's a large rock stone wall that separates the northern tundra, where mammoth people and a lot of the winter animal folk live, because they want the resources that Wilderon has, and Wilderon said no. And so this giant rock wall was erected. But the rumor has it that the rock wall is not actually a rock at all, but a frozen dragon who has been petrified into place, and that if that's why the Wilderani are fighting so fervently for to protect it, because if they don't, the Linor will awaken and, you know, basically just start destroying things. So that's a whole thing. Hey, macrobiologist, good to see you. How are you? Happy New Year, my dear friend. I hope that you are in good health. I hope you enjoyed and celebrated well. So yeah, lots of different cultures. This area here I'm keeping a secret for now, Eclipse Island. There's a whole bunch of stuff there. Aquardia is basically my Atlantis, so that's underwater and it's the home of the merfolk. I've got the Forbidden Shore, which is a mystery island that I want people to explore. The Silenci Marshes, which is where a lot of the lizards and frogs and toads and all that originally came from. Not to say that they're only from there, but this was kind of like a melting pot of a lot of races that ended up going out to explore, as well as experimenting on things that ended up destroying this this large chunk of land, which is the Broken Lands. No one knows what happened here. This is again a mystery. There's also a mysterious tower over here. You know, lots of cool stuff. Oozing Caverns. What else? Yeah. And then, of course, I got my pirate lands, the Dread Sea, and the Grey Mist Isles. So, yeah, my world also has, like multiverse things. So if you want to connect it to, like, a D&D campaign, the Grey Mist Isles are a series of islands that are unmapped. You enter the mist, and you literally get teleported to other realities. And same way is people from other realities emerge from the Grey Mist Isle and find themselves lost in my world. So it is an opening or a portal to other campaign settings, if you wanted it, that is. Frostburn Archipelago, I haven't built up too much. The Dragon Isle is basically a forbidden island. There's more information on that later on in the story. Yeah, there you go. That is effectively my world. Oh, and actually you'll like this. The Oozing Fjords. So you can probably notice that the South and the North Poles have different colors. That is because the South Pole is, as you would imagine, the frozen mesa, which is just a ice flow type thing. The North, the Oozing Fjords, was actually a a world-devouring gelatinous ooze that started to eat my world, but mysterious circumstances froze the entire ooze in place, creating the Oozing Fjord, which is at the top of my world. And yeah, some say that if it defrosts, it'll eat the rest of it. So that's happening. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll come to there. Yeah, we'll come to there. It's actually also really cool because it's so cold up in the north. If you do go to the north and like have to explore the Oozing Fjords, you can't set fires. Because if you set a fire, you melt some of the ooze, and it starts to animate and attack people. So you have to kind of like grit your teeth and bear it, or find a way to like magically circumvent the cold up there. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's get back to the history here before I lose. See, I get distracted so easily. Getting WoW vibes. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I just made it up. You know, I know some people like drop like dice or spill tea or whatever onto a map, and it's like, that's my world. Yeah, my world didn't do that. Yep. I just knew I wanted to have like an island that kind of shaped like a dragon head, and I knew that I wanted to have like this island that looked like a eclipse. So yeah, or a moon. Yeah. Okay. Continuing on. Let's read this through. So, in the Age of Creation, Redacted created the sun. Okay, let's actually make Redacted a color. So there we go. Redacted. There we go. Nice. Redacted. Cool. So anytime we mention him in black. Okay. Created the first, let's say, body of solid Earth, which would later be referred to as the moon, to safeguard the night. The god Lindal was born, and the moon made into a palace for him to watch in the dark for the return of the Nether. Now there's some other story stuff, for sure. The story stuff here is that Lindal and Raynova are actually lovers. They are madly in love, but are not permitted to enjoy each other's company until the time of a solar or lunar eclipse. That's kind of a whole story. It's really, really cute. But yes, they are just madly in love and, you know, doing their jobs well. They're it. Let's see. After the creation, after this came the creation of Eraldin and Eraldin and Eraldi. The two-faced goddess, of knowledge and magic. Oh, that's the wrong one. And that one. There we go. All right. Knowledge, time, and magic. It was Redacted's hope that they would serve to keep their siblings in check and distribute power amongst them so they too may enjoy creation, enjoy the domain which Redacted had given them. So basically, it's I created the sun and light into this world. In doing so, I've created Raynova. Raynova, this is yours. This is my gift to you. Do with it what you will. Should you be a guiding light and a beacon to others, then that is what you shall be. If you wish to incinerate and burn and rend asunder everything, that is also yours. This is my gift to you. Now, to give you that gift, this is Araldin and Araldi. They are driven by wisdom, knowledge, time, and magic. And as such, you cannot steal them. You can't steal. Basically, the gods can't steal power without stealing it from them. Even if you were to kill another god, you don't necessarily gain their power, right? And that's an important thing for later. But yeah, so these guys are the keepers of that power. Okay, so Araldin and Araldi, they do that, yada yada yada. Okay, so what happens then? So then, according to my older notes, yada yada yada. Cool. Oh, eating a golden persimmon. That is how they pass the power on. Rise of the Titans. Aha. Okay. So this is the return of the Nether. Alright, time passed, but memories did not, as the Nether returned in hopes of destroying the newly founded cosmos, the newly created. The cosmos that Redacted was slowly developing, was slowly growing, nurturing, that's the word. Hey, what's up, Kate? How are you? I hope you're doing well, my dear. Good to see you. I see your little happy little blob. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, I love him. Yeah, welcome in, welcome in. We're doing some world building, chilling, hanging out. Please feel free to relax, unwind, kick your shoes off. How was your New Year's, my dear? I hope you celebrated well. I hope you enjoyed and had a great time. So good to see you. Okay. So yes, the Nether was returning. Araldi, Lindal, and Raynova saw that the Nether meant to return things to the Age of Darkness, and thus implored Redacted to defend their universe. Redacted didn't wish to confront the Nether directly. So instead, he created elemental planes to provide soldiers to defend the universe. These soldiers of elemental power would become known as the Titans. To keep the Titans and command them, the goddess Gidnera was created. As a god of nature and the elements. Alright, there we go. Feeling inspired to write down some of your world history? Dude, do it. No time like the present. Because I am, like I said, today is all about not procrastinating with this stuff. Because, yeah, I just constantly procrastinate with it. Okay. So we got another goddess mentioned here. So that was Gidnera. We have more mentions of the Nether. Let's... There we go. And we have more mentions of... Gods, redacted. There we go. Okay. To keep the Titans and command them, the goddess of Gidnera was... Yeah. Okay. The battle was long and bloody. But in time, the Nether were driven back by the might of the Titans. But destruction was not yet born of this world. Instead, the results of the battle against the Nether saw the creation of something new. A world floating in the void. Oh, actually, no, let's go several worlds. Several worlds floating amongst the plains. A middle realm, Aulestria. Okay, so that's basically how Aulestria was created. When the elementals were, when the Titans were fighting against the Nether, the collision of their power and their strength is what gave birth to Aulestria as a whole. So it was a initial planet, and that's kind of it. Let's go with. No, don't want to do that. Sorry, I'm just trying to format my stuff so that I'm not. The Age of Titans. Okay, Age of Creation. Titans. Yeah, there we go. Let's see, am I putting spaces between them? No, I think no spaces between that one, but these are pretty long-winded, so we can put spaces between them. Make them nice and easy to read. Okay, there we go. Aulestria's birth. Here we go. All right. The world of Aulestria in its early days was chaotic and inhospitable. Few records tell of this age, where Titans ruled the lands they created, but in turn entered a cycle of destruction and devastation that tore through the lands. The destruction saw the rise of the first deity not born of redacted, but born of the world. Born of how are they born? It's like they're born of necessity. Actually, I don't even need to say that. Yeah, instructions of the rise of the first deity not born of redacted. His name, the god. Now, this god is different to redacted. He is the nameless one. Now, the nameless one is that's important for later, but for now, he has a he did have a name. Their original name no longer exists, but at the time they were revered as the god of destruction, power, and strength. The Titans favored the Nameless One as a father figure, as a doting father figure. While their mother, in a sense, Idnera, would often try to temper them with the war against the Nether over. With the war of the Nether over. Okay. Now what happened next? Yada yada yada. Oh, yes, the family stuff. Okay. Okay. Seeing Aulestria struggling to take form, Lindahl and Rainova met with Eraldi, and suggested that with the birth of the new gods, it would be important to ensure that others have room to grow. The Titans' time is over, and they must be destroyed. Ginera pleaded seeing Aulestria struggling to take form, the gods convened to speak with Redacted. Now that this realm was able to birth other gods, Redacted grew curious at what their realm would become if left in the hands of the deities he had created. Lindahl, Rainova, and Eraldi thought it would be a wonderful chance to create a real family from the pantheon, create a family pantheon. Create a family. Let's just go with create a family. But presently, with the Titans rampaging across the realm, nothing could exist beyond destruction. Thus, they asked if Redacted could destroy the Titans so Aulestria may grow. Alright, there we go. Okay. Hey, Brune, how you doing? Welcome in. Not working today? No, it's school holidays. So, school holidays, I work Tuesday, Thursdays, and Wednesday now becomes a day off instead of Thursday. So, yeah, a little bit of extra time here. Okay. Guinera pleaded, seeing the Titans as her children, that they be spared. That they didn't deserve to be destroyed for doing what they were created to do. Redacted, agreed, and instead created realms for them, allowing the Titans to live in peace. In actuality, these were little more than prisons of their own making. The elemental planes were born, and it was here the Titans were sent. Okay. So for me in my world, the elemental planes are effectively just that. They are elemental planes that draw out the power of the elements themselves. The Titans, elementals are effectively pieces of the Titans that kind of fall around and you know, sort of pull all that out. As the time went on, eventually the Titans kind of went into like almost a torpor or a sleeping state and just ended up where they were. So the Earth Titan is effectively the elemental plane of Earth. The elemental plane of Fire is the Fire Titan, so on and so forth. And there are some overlaps within their realms. Now, for example, there is no Magma Titan, for example. However, in a realm in which both the Earth and the Fire Titan sort of collide or touch, there is another realm, which is the elemental plane of Magma, where that, in its essence, is where a kind of almost like a hybrid element or a hybrid Titan exists. So, so that's kind of where that whole thing comes into place. It's also where a lot of people tap into primal magic or elemental magic. So if you try to create a fireball, for example, you are borrowing power from that Titan. But it's, you know, kind of one of those things that everyone does it because you don't think about the scope of what you're doing. You're just tapping into, like, what is effectively a big barrel of fire and using a tiny, almost a completely insignificant amount of fire and just launching it out of that plane. And that's kind of how those spells and those magics work. So that's kind of how I picked my elemental planes. It was effectively a canvas sheet for creating Aulestria. So where there were deserts, that was where the that's where the Titan of Fire had kind of spent a lot of time. Where there's lush oceans, for example, and tropical rainforests and stuff, that maybe the elemental Titan of Water used to be around there, so on and so forth. every now and then they would collide and they would do battle and they would, you know, like create, they would change the landscape. But now that they're all pulled aside and in their own places, Aulestria is finally settling. Okay. Aulestria had a chance to heal, and for the first time, grow. The Winds of Life. Now, this age is an interesting one, because it starts with redacted having set their affairs in order, bid farewell to the realm he had created, or they had created. In time, they hoped to see what fruit was born from the soil. Before leaving, however, he had one final creation to make. He had two final creations. Two final creations to make. The first was... let's have a look here. Yada yada. First was... Azalea. Was Azalea a daughter for Raynova and Lindal, born of their flesh and given form. Just working out on the frozen dragon tied to the main plot as to hint something coming to the future. Kind of happy about that. Ooh. Working out the frozen dragon can tie into the main plot as a hint of something coming to the future. Weather is always a really, really good and interesting thing, especially if people aren't aware of, like, things like that. You don't often think about things like the weather, but when things start to cool down or when animals start to change their, like, behavior, like say predators from up in the mountains have started moving into the lowlands, the presence of a dragon can really have like massive ongoing repercussions if you play around with it a little bit. Brune, thank you so much for the tip, my dude. It comes with a super big thank you. I don't know what to say, dude. That's so generous of you and so kind. Yeah, you big old softy, you. Not gonna lie, it's been tough. It's been tough to get everything sorted before the holidays fully and properly end. But yeah, thank you, my dear friend. Okay. Where was I at? That blew my mind. That took my head away. Patreon payment didn't go through this month again. Okay. Well, it's still fine. I still accept it. Ha 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 ha. Yes. Working through the current plot? Ooh. Frozen Dragon can be tied to the main plot as a hidden something. What if there are legends in lore, Wolfie? What if there is, like, legends of this, this dragon, and the closer they get to it in the plot, you start to see little things. Like maybe there's some mugs with like carvings and depictions of a battle of a dragon, or you know, like you start to see like bowls and like you know, sort of etchings here and there, little tiny things, or even like Granddad's shield. Maybe they find an old battered war shield that has some like almost like flecks of almost sapphire colored scales, but it's like almost like an opalescent kind of shape. As you can kind of like see these almost like frosted like colors, and you don't know where it comes from, but legend has it that frost dragons, when they get to a molting season, sort of scrape themselves along the bottoms of riverbeds, and in doing so, they create these sort of like almost like pearlescent powder shavings. Aquamarine, thank you, Bryn. Yeah. These pearlescent shavings from their scales. So it's not like a full scale, but almost like this powdered dust that back in the day, which is no longer a technique they use in modern, quote unquote, modern society, but they used to get like these cheese fabrics and like line the rivers with it, and they used to gather these this powder. They didn't know where it came from, but then they used to use it to like coat their armors and things like that, give it that vibrant color. This way you can sort of, when you get to that point of like revealing the frost dragon, you could, or the frozen dragon, you can see that the dragon's influence here was ancient since before the times it was frozen. And you kind of build this sense of like, oh shit, of course there's a fucking dragon here. For like weeks, we've like seen people like, you know, with like dragon balls and dragon this and dragon that, and the like how their lives used to be with the dragon alive and well. You know, like yeah, that could sound really cool. I mean, I don't know, maybe. That's my two thoughts. Sorry, I Dragon Ball Z. Love Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Super was okay. I just think they did Boo dirty in Dragon Ball Super. Nordic Ice Clan Village, talk of dragons from the old days, rumors of old gods frozen into the dragon for no reason. Yeah, exactly. I think the thing is it's kind of like a show don't tell, right? If you tell your players, like this guy comes up and says, "Oh yes, dragon this and dragon that," you'll find that they'll pick up on that super easy. But the more subtle you make it, the bigger the reveal is, and it kind of feels like this. It kind of feels like this big ongoing rolling thing of like that realization of how ingrained dragons were into the culture. You know, that's just my thoughts on it. That's how I seed my weirdness. Ooh, I love the idea of the old god who froze the dragon. That's a tale. That's a tale in and of itself. But the tale you could easily swing from the perspective of the old god. So you're not telling the story of the dragon. You're telling this. It's like, let me tell you the story of Sveindal. Sveindal, he was a mighty Viking warrior, a man who could move mountains with the sheer strength of his teeth. Some say that even in the oldest of days, once he dove into a river that was so cold that even a dragon who was in pursuit, chasing after him, froze at the ocean's very touch, while Svergard emerged with barely a shiver. And you know, because the focal point of that story is somebody else, the dragon becomes, you know, it kind of like sneaks in and is a lot more like a subtle part of that, which is fun. I love tricking my players. It brings me great joy. All right, back to this. So I don't lose my train of thought. So the first was Azalea, a daughter for Rainover and Leidal, born of their flesh and given form. Azalea became the goddess of life. That was a pretty good one. Groku and Frismio. I was thinking something similar to that, since like just like our history shows, much of the cultural tradition changes or dies over time. Yeah. No, I love that, Wolvie. That's dope. That's super dope. Okay, so Azalea becomes the goddess of life. The duty of creating creatures of Aulestria. would fall onto her. And with the guidance of her aunt, Gidnera, and the watchful gazes of her mother and father, she would bring Aulestria into its new age. Actually, I may make that the second, because I feel like the second was Azalea. Yes. Yeah, I think that's going to just read better. The two gifts that were left behind. Hey! All things fantasy. Good to see you. Can't stay, but good to see I'm doing some world building. Yeah, I know. Thank you for stopping by. Always good to see you popping in. Send my love to all the family, to the puppers, and of course, to your lovely partner. Oh, I don't know if I told anyone. I'm going to Gen Con. If anyone's going to Gen Con, let me know. I can't afford to go to Gen Con, but apparently I'm going, so there you go. Alright. Not me, broke as fuck. Yeah, feel that. Feel that. I'm gonna be working my ass off because I'm hopefully gonna be raising funds to go to Gen Con this year, as well as Europe. Because I'll be doing a week-long trip with a couple of friends of mine, and then hopefully going to the UK for a little bit, and then coming back. And I swear to God, I don't want to travel anymore. Last year was so hard. This year is I'm like, oh, I'm dreading it. I say dreading it. I'm not dreading it. I'm just like, feel that I'm going to be working hard to do a trip to England to visit your bestie. Hey, that's so cool. Yeah, I'm pretty much doing the same. I'm visiting a actually I'm visiting. I don't mind saying this. I'm visiting Guy from How to Be a Great GM. We haven't seen each other in quite a while, so I'm gonna go hang out with him and to go see him and check out his stomping ground in the UK, as well as the other cast members from the Ghost of Saltmarsh series that we did for Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, just because we love each other and we want to spend time with each other, so we're gonna try. I'm gonna try and make it out there. Yeah, always good to catch up with the mates. Yeah, always good, always good. All right. The first was a set of unbreakable rules called, and I had a cool name for this as well. The Codicillus something. It was the Codicillus Archnus. Okay, I'm going to just copy and paste this because I don't remember what it was off by heart. Okay, here we go. Called the Codicillus Archnus. I don't necessarily like Archnus, so I might change that name. Codicillus. What does Archnus mean? Did I write that down because I typed it into a translator? What does Archnus mean? Archnus. Nothing. English to Latin. Gods. Deus. Ooh, hold on. The Codicillus Eternus. Ooh, I like that. The Eternal Code. I love that. That's a really good one. Love my bestie, the moon and back, so it'd be nice to visit her. Yeah, oh, that's so good. Mates are very important. As an Australian, I gotta say this. Mates are top priority. Like, just always are. Okay. So, let's use... Yep. Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay. I think it's too hard to read. All right, rule number 1, you may not destroy the space between the stars. Number 2, you may not create what you are not willing to destroy. You may not use your power to destroy a deity. I think I might change that. You may not use a member of the deific pantheon may not use their power to destroy another. Okay, I think that works well. You may not rule in the house of another deity. Member of the pantheon. That would be pantheon. There you go. You may not rule in the house of another deity. None may take power from Iraldin or Iraldi. Here we go. The new realm of Aulestria belongs to the life created by my new deity, Azalea. As such, the divine may no longer directly interfere with the beings of that world. Oof. In its stead, each of the divine... No, I don't need to say that. The new realm of Aulestria belongs to the life created, the lives created by my new... by Azalea. To the beings that form upon the world, born of it. Yes. Yeah, okay, that works. As such, the divine may no longer directly interfere I don't even need to put that. Right. And shall not be interfered directly by any member of the Pantheon. Okay, and lastly, none of the divine may manifest themselves upon the material plane. So, yeah, that's the 7 golden rules right there, baby. Look at them. Okay. The second creation. The second was Azalea, a daughter for Rainova and Leindal. Born of their flesh and given form, Azalea became the goddess of life. Whose duty was the creation of creatures that would inhabit Aulestria. With the guidance of her aunt Gidnera, the watchful gazes of her mother and father, and the wisdom of Iraldin Iraldi, it was Redacted's hope that she would bring Aulestria into a new age. All right, so there we go. So that is the second stanza, or second act. Okay. Azalea set about her task. First creating life in the form of the animals of the land. Land, sea, and sky. Then followed the Wilderfolk and Fae. Fae and Merfolk. Instead about creating the first lives. How do I say this? Say it about the first lives in Aulestria were then given shape. First came the creatures of the land, sea, and sky, following which came the Fae and the Wilder folk. Shortly after, seeing her aunt, Gidnera, saddened at the loss of her beloved titans, Azalea created the Elder Races, born from each element. Earth, the dwarves. Fire, the dragons. Wind, the elves. And water, the merfolk. So these were the first races of my world. These were like the first creatures that were made. All right. All the while, as life began to take hold in Aulestria, the Nameless One watched with bitter anger. The world that was once his had been stripped from him. The Codicillus, which I can spell. Codicillus. Bound and muzzled his power. And it was not something they were ready to accept. All right, there we go. Cool. Hey, Anthonyum, good to see you. Welcome in. We are, oops, I don't want to put that one there. We are doing some world building, just chilling out, having fun. How are you? How was your festive season? Hope you had good. Looking and sounding good. Hey, thanks, Wolvie. Worldbuilding's always fun. Good to see what other GMs do. See the process. Anything you learn to be new. You will not learn anything new from me. I am such an amateur at this. I just get to a certain point where I've been like procrastinating on my world building so much, and I just kind of needed like just that motivation. I was like, cool. If I have the stream on, for sure I'll actually make some time and actually make some progress with this. And you know, like over time my ideas change, so I'm like going back through it, reviewing it, and then being like, oh cool, what changed? How have things, you know, sort of evolved, and you know, kind of work through that. So yeah. If you've got anything to teach me, by all means, please throw it out there. If you have any questions about my world, hey, we'll talk about it, of course. And if you have any suggestions, please feel free to throw it out there as well. Yeah. Because like I said, for me, in this, I have a lot of this stuff already locked down in my head. You ask me any question, even about elf shoes, in this world, and I can absolutely make that happen. You know what I mean? But you know, like when it comes to actually writing stuff down, I'm always like, oh my god, I'm freaking writing stuff down. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Seriously, like, yeah, I'll answer. All the while, life was beginning to take hold. The names were washed in bitter anger, yada yada yada. Which brings us to Tarask for All. Now here, this is the actually you came in at a good time. This is the bit that I was mentioning before. When Wolfie asked me, what was the inspiration for my world, this event was like the quintessential part of my world. So. Shoes oddly specific. It's a reference to something that Janet from World Anvil and I used to talk about, which is you used to get too deep into world building that eventually you would end up talking about elf shoes. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that, you know, like, yeah, it's a whole thing. So, as I mentioned before, my world is very much built around true naming and this idea that names carry power. So there's a reason why Redacted's name was removed. When he removed himself from existence, all traces of him are removed, even from my own writing. The Nameless one is very, very different to Redacted. Redacted is something that has been removed, whereas the Nameless one is something that has been taken. And there's a very good reason why. The next event that happens is the Nameless one goes down to Aulestria, breaking the Codicillus Eternus, and he becomes the Tarask of my world. I did a world building stream for our Fallout Australia game a couple weeks back. It was hard answering some of the questions that were asked about it and why and how. So be interested to peek over your shoulder as well. Yeah, 100%. Actually, if you have any of those questions you'd like to ask, do feel free. Absolutely. In fact, I'm actually going to create in my little thing here. Hold on one second. Okay. New text file. Here we go. Twitch questions. All right. If anyone literally asks like any random question about my world, boom, right here. Twitch questions and answers. Done. What inspired my world? True naming from D&D 3.5. Plus fantasy food. And stuff. The Tarask being a major historical point in the development of my world. There you go. Done. Yeah, so that was what inspired my world. Yeah, so any questions, they can come on up. That's how this is gonna work. Boom. Okay, let's go back to the history. Basic timeline, here we go. Okay, so Tarask Fall. The Nameless one grew angered as Aulestria flourished. As praise was being lavished upon Azalea for her role in the world's prosperity, The Nameless One continued to be seen as the violent problem child. In true fact, they worked hard to ensure why is this going back and forth? To ensure that the world remained balanced. Though none saw it this way. Eventually, the Nameless One turned to Iraldin and Iraldi for guidance, but instead was simply told to stay the course and trust in the will of Redacted. This angered the Nameless One further. They had no tie to Redacted as his other siblings. He was not born of Redacted, but of a need that Aulestria had. So, he decided to commit the greatest taboo to prove his place upon the Pantheon. He took a mortal form. Oh, he manifested upon Aulestria to show the necessity of destruction. No, he just manifested on it. Doesn't need to have a reason. Because I like the idea that he's kind of like, there's two angles you can take this story. Either one, he was someone who was trying to do what was right and prove that that was right, or he was trying to, he was just having a tantrum. And I love the idea of it being up to interpretation. Like me, thanks to Dagstream, trying tying a frozen dragon into my plot. Hint something coming down the road once the player is done with the current plot. Nice. I love that. Okay. Let's just get the Nameless One in here. Boom. Iraldin and Iraldi. I also like the fact that he, like, tried to get guidance as well, but just didn't get what he was looking for. Alright. Done. Thunder. tore through the sky as the manifestation of the Nameless One emerged from the heavens and began a tireless onslaught of the creatures, the land, the sea, and even the sky. Nothing was beyond the beasts beyond their reach, with claws, fang. No, actually, it goes beyond their reach. A being of titanic strength. An embodiment of death. It began a tireless onslaught of creatures, the land, the sea, and even the sky. Nothing was beyond the reach of its fangs and claws. Boom! There we go. Hey, Tabletop Rolls! Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in and bringing your community here. Welcome. So good to see you. Man of the Worlds, raid is on! Release the goblins, cast Eldritch Blast! Oh no! Well, joke's on you because I play Pathfinder. Your move. I'd be making the little hand gesture that my little dude is doing, but you know, yeah. Good to see you. Welcome in. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Michael. I'm Dead Gamer. We are doing some world building because I procrastinate far too much, and this is my stream to say, hey, I'm doing work. You see, I'm making some headway, doing some world building. It's what we're doing. We're hanging out, just chill streams, stuff like that. Make yourself comfy. If you like RPGs and stuff, give us a follow, and yeah, just hang out here. Athenaeum, I like the idea of names with power. I toyed with the idea of setting up a world in which verbs were magic words, all verbs usable by anyone, so language changes to accommodate. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I'm going to the shops to buy a bottle of milk. May result in you teleporting to a magic shop. Oh, that's cool. I love that. Poof at Tesco's. Nice. And you know, as an Australian, that would be an awful way to use magic because, you know, like, it'd be like, oh man, I'm fucking spewing. You know, like, yeah, it'd just be awful. Absolutely awful. And then, yeah, see, just, we have a lot of verbs in Oz that we use that aren't appropriate. Yep. You underestimate my power. Oh no. Oh my. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. Yeah, we got a lot of it. Okay. So, so extra channel points for those lurking while working. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, that's true. This is also a good chance to earn some channel points while you're you know, just for the use of my games. Cause yeah, my games are very audience interactive. Ooh, you know what I should do? Hold on, I'm gonna do this. Wait, it's gonna look crap. There we go. Oh no. Oh, where'd it go? Come back. There we go. Okay, hello Dag, that's me. And then I can do this, and then I can put that here. Aha! Look, it's a me. Done. Boom. Faulty! Hi, Faulty. How are you? A metaphor centered was vulgar and visceral. Yeah, it's so true. How do you set up a watch streak? That's so cool. Did I? Wait, what? What have I done? Oh, no, I think that's just automatic. I didn't do shit. Trust me, when it comes down to this, I do not have time to do anything but the bare minimum of, like, what I need to do role-playing games. If Twitch is doing things, it's doing things, mate. That's that's basically it. One of our mates on DayZ is an Aussie from Queensland, so I've heard some funny things come out of. Yeah, no, dude, seriously, like, play games with Aussies. It's always fun. Oh, you know what? Hold on, I'm gonna put this up as well. There we go. Look at that. What's this? There you go. Yeah, see, like I said, I don't put this up anywhere. So I feel like there, you guys can have that. Feel better? God damn it. Yeah, that's so embarrassing. But yes, I do actually have that. They gave me this. Yes. Haha. Happy belated New Year to everyone. Hope you have fun. Yes. Also, Wolfie, if you are going to bed, you know, and I do hope, you know, at some point you do, please do sleep well. And if you pass out while you're here, thank you for joining. Hello, who's sending me messages? I have shows coming up in Perth. Oh, that's awesome. I'd love to go to your shows, but you don't come to any of mine, so fuck yeah. Yep, there you go. Sorry, getting messages from people. There we go. Ooh, Follow Edge. Has been following for 2 years, 8 months, 18 days, and 20 hours. Damn! That is a long time, dude. That is a hot minute. It's been that long, man. Like, yeah. I know, right? Like, 2023 happened so damn quick. Like, you know, like, I'm saying, like, so damn quick. I did not even realize how quick the year went by. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Says about right from what my mate says. Yeah, that's true. Queensland's almost Australia's Florida, but Northern Territory is a true correlation. I mean, if you're talking about specifically crocodiles, yeah. I mean, I can see what people say when you're saying Queensland is Australia's Florida. Like, weather-wise and, like, people-wise, absolutely. 100%. Oh, I could definitely see that. But yeah, no. If you're talking about, like, gators, like, just being on your lawn and shit, yeah, that's Northern Territory, for sure. Like, I saw a thing just today about, like, somebody in the Northern Territory had to fish a crocodile out of their swimming pool. Which still blows my mind. I mean, I get it, right? Like, it makes sense. But wouldn't you get into a pool as, like, an animal, realize there's chlorine in the pool, and just be like, nah, fuck this? You know? Like, what do they feel when they jump into the pool? Like, you can tell the difference when you jump into a river or the ocean or something like that, and when you jump into a swimming pool. So, you know, it's just, yeah. Being from Canada, I've never seen a gator in my life. No? I've eaten crocodile. I haven't eaten gator yet. Oh, maybe I should eat gator when I'm in America next. Have I had gator? No, I haven't. I've only eaten crocodile. Ooh, I should try gator. I don't think I can get gator from Indianapolis, though. Or LA. Ooh, I gotta look. I gotta look into it. Maybe I'll have someone send me some. I'll be like, hey, who's coming to Gen Con from Florida? Can you bring me some gator? I want to eat it. All right, where are we at? Right, so as I mentioned, this is the major event in my world. This was like a major consolidating force in my setting. So the Nameless One, the God of Destruction, basically has felt slighted by the overarching God, the redacted God, and has manifested in my world. The people of Aulestria would come to call this beast the Tarask. Now, what does the Tarask mean? Definition, name, Tarask. Gigantic lizard-like monster, yes, but what does the name come from? I know it's French mythology, but does it have a word? Creature, there's golden legend, yada yada yada. 6 foot 10 shell, depicted on the Tarascon? Oh, so it's the creature from the Tarascon flag. Right, okay. Okay, so there's no, like, definition word. Draco indes medius animal, terrestri medius pisci et erat grossio bov longio equo et caput habens Leonian dest Sparta arcos comos inequas dossum acutum ut dolabrum squamas hirsutas tu taravos syndesis in hospede et ungudas usinas caudam vipream binis pamit ut tota quatre parte munitis. Munis? Yeah. A huge dragon, half animal, half fish, fatter than a bull, longer than a horse, has the face and head of a lion, teeth as sharp as swords, a mane of a horse, a back that was hatched, sharply bristled scales, keen as augers, 6 foot, with bear-like claws, the tail of a serpent, and a double-shield carapace like a tortoise on each side. I don't know why I read it in French or whatever that language was, but I thought I'd try. Crocodile tastes like tuna and snake. Actually, that's a pretty accurate description. I say it tastes very much like very, very dense swordfish, but you know, swordfish is also very hard to come by. Bears, moose, and wolves. Never seen a moose, never seen a bear. I've seen wolves. Not in Australia, but I've seen wolves. Okay. So people yeah, call this the Tarask. Now. The elder races of Aulestria banded together. Oh wait, no. Aulestria prayed for a miracle to help them against the Tarask. Their prayers were answered. As birth was given, as new deities arose to help those in need. So this was the rise of okay, so Nibera, Bastille, Roanoke. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, they're these guys. Okay, so help those in need. Bastille, which I'm gonna probably change that name. God of protection, family, and hearth. Ronak, God of battle, war, strength. Oh, protection, family, and valor. And who else was born? Let me have a look here. Major gods, Ronak, Artrax, nope, Ignara, nope, Eldest. Who else did I create at this age? Was that it? No, I think that was it. Okay, yeah, sure, I guess. Okay, so, Bastille, God of protection, valor, yada yada yada. Ronak, God of battle of strength. And yes. as 2 new deities arose to help those in need. Iraldin, Iraldi were not blind to the efforts of the Nameless One, and decided to bestow a gift upon the creatures of Aulestria. He bestowed upon them the power to wield magic. The gift was given to the elves to share among the other races. However, they did not do so readily or willingly. More to that story later, I think. Saving the most powerful of magics for themselves. Yeah, basically elves being, you know, kind of selfish in that regard. Hey, good to see you, DM Stretch. Good morning. And Suki the Dwagon, nice to see you. Welcome in. If this is your first time in here, which if Twitch is telling me correctly it is, welcome and nice to meet you. My name is Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer, and I am creating, well, sorry, should I say I'm doing some world building because I procrastinate a lot, and we're here doing it. So, there you go. If you have any questions about my world, or if you want to test my knowledge on what I can tell people about my setting, feel free to ask any questions. That's kind of like how we're going at the moment. We're also just chilling out and just unwinding a little bit, just vibing. Yeah, we don't have land predators, not many. I mean dingoes count, but dingoes really just are pretty like meh. They're not domestic dogs. Don't get me wrong, right? They are absolutely not domestic dogs. You do not go up to dingoes and yada yada yada. But that being said, so many of them, especially ones that like are aware of humans, like around the mines and stuff like that, or the rural areas, they're no different to stray dogs, right? Like, they're not overly dangerous. They won't hunt people, for example. Wolves hunt the shit out of people, yeah. Schoolie, hearing you say all that, Dag, given your true name bit earlier, what if the power of true names varies upon how far its current name is due to its original translation? Interesting point. Let's throw this in here as a what if from Twitch. What if true names had different effects for how far a name has changed from its original? I think for me, the original true names are not known by any outside of Iraldin and Iraldi. They, by nature, do not change or alter true names, but that is not to say that it hasn't happened. Changing a true name will change the very nature of anything. Even slight alterations can have massive implications. Removing a true name is considered to be a war crime in a cosmic sense. Thus far, it has only happened once, as Redacted punished the Nameless One. Actually, I should probably say it now. Punish the Tarask by deleting their true name. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at for that one. Sounded like Latin earlier. Yeah, it might have been Latin. Understandable pieces are massive. They are massive. They're tanks, walking tanks. Drax gotta go. Hey, no worries, Suki. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I have to move along a few times in the area. You know, I'd love to see a moose one day. Yeah, that's true. I would not like to see a moose. They're big. Bigger and colder. More moose talk. Moose. I was just about to say we should go for livestock. I can comfortably say nothing world building history for the night. Quite happy with the progress. Nice. Removal. Yes. So removal of a name. Basically, it's just straight up deleted. Your true name is gone. Deleted. Oh, you want me to? Oh, yeah. By removing by destroying their true name. There you go. They're done. Okay. I should probably also put down here. In this time, for breaking the codicillus, which I gotta learn how to spell. By breaking the codicillus, the Nameless One true name was permanently removed. Was permanently removed from record. Was permanently removed, and the name Tarask was replaced it. All semblance of the deity they once were was gone, leaving only the mad beast bent on nothing but destruction. Alright, there we go. Deleted versus rescind, deface, destroy. I like remove and destroy. Expunged. Or something, I don't know. Steal. And Ronak. Okay. Well, the races of the yada yada. Okay. Iraldin and Iraldi were not blind to the efforts of the Nameless One. Yep, there we go. Okay, cool. Together. Together, the races, the people of Aulestria, banded together, fought and defeated the Tarask. But even in defeat, it could not be truly killed. An ancient dragon named let's give a name to this one. Haldnir Yovarix. Haldnir Yovarix. Haldnir Yovarix. Let me try this one. I am the great dragon, Haldnir Yovarix. No, that sounds... I don't like it. Hadnir? Hidnir? Yadnir? Yadnir. Yadnir Ovarik. Yadnirova. Ooh, I like that one. Nailed it. Yadnirova. Yadnirova. Came up with a solution. The Tarask would be torn asunder, and its pieces scattered around Aulestria, safeguarded by its people, so that the creature would never reform. Agreeing to this, the races of Aulestria, to agreeing to this, the Tarask was torn apart. And each piece held in place in places that would later be known as the Great Dungeons of Aulestria. Oh no, I disconnected from chat. I think that was maybe my hiccup at 2 hours, I feel like. 2 hours, 4 minutes, something like that. Hold on. Let me catch up with chat real quick. Making Vecna. Kind of making it my Vecna. I mean, a little bit. A little bit. Not exactly, but yeah, it's kind of like the big deal. Yeah, like Vecna, but not. I love the dingoes who watch Australia by sea. It's true. No, it's not the 204 yet? Oh, okay. Hold on. Wait, when is 204? Like 3 minutes? Okay. So the Great Dungeons of Aulestria. So this is kind of the main point of my world, I guess. This is kind of like the big thing. The Great Dungeons of Aulestria are like in my world, they are where monsters come from. Monsters come specifically from these places because of the Tarask and its influence on the world. Okay, let me get this done here. Where is it? Come on, you. Just looking for some stuff here. And that new look to it. What did I do with it? No. No, I don't want that one. I want I want it to be pretty. Oh, it's hiding it from me. Ah, I see, okay. Yeah, it's just because the text is too big. I can't see the display. Ah, okay. That's okay. We will use this one then. Where's it? Breath of Fire. Boom. No, don't like that one. Breath of Fire 2. Nope, don't like that one either. Breath of Fire 4. No. So, hey guys. Especially 2 a.m. Still have a headache. I'm gonna head out. No worries. Thanks for hanging out, Wolvie. We'll hopefully see you around very soon. Back. Sweet. Thank you. All right. There's the blip. Yeah, freaking blips. The Tarrasque blood scattered across the world is how the monsters spawn. Yeah, kind of. Basically, the Tarrasque's blood has polluted the land and has given birth to monsters. Okay. So. Now, I had the Great Dragon War here, but I think the Feral Ages come first. So, the Feral Age. Okay. The success. The death or the defeat of the Tarrasque, however, was not the end of things, as it would seem. From each of the locations that the Tarrasque's body would be taken, blood, bone, bile would mix with the earth and give birth to creatures poisoned with rage and destruction. They would be known as the feral creatures, the feral beasts. Okay, so where are the dungeons of Aulestria? Let's look at this. So the dungeons are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Tainted Beasts? No. No, something that calls into their berserk nature is kind of what I wanted to. It's not that they corrupted, like literally like you spill Tarrasque blood on a forest and you suddenly have like porcupines who have bones that have like human hands on it and stuff like that. Or, you know, like, I mean, this is also effectively where goblins and orcs come from, where they're literally just born of the Tarrasque's blood and they just sort of manifest. Okay, so the dungeons of Aulestria. Let's go exploring. So, hello. Can I? No, I think the program went to sleep. There we go. Okay. So the first one is the heart, which is in the mobile fortress. Fortes. Fortes. Stop that. Okay. Fortress. Alright. The mobile fortress. Trask has more passing resemblance to Glyptodons. Yes, no, absolutely, Faulty. They do. They absolutely do have more of a feel to that. Mine has a more like Pathfinder version of it. So if you haven't seen the Pathfinder version of it, let me have a quick look here. Let's see. Pathfinder Tarask. I do love the image of it though. Here we go. This is it. How do I... Okay, there we go. That'll do. Okay, there you go. That is the Tarask down in the bottom there. There you go. So that's what the Tarask looks like in my setting as well. So very much like the traditional like Tarask from Pathfinder, D&D, whatever you call it. Yep. Yeah. Which I like. This is very much like a T-Rex more than that. But yeah, the original like the true Tarask, I guess, it definitely it kind of like, yeah, it pretty much has an ankylosaur tail, like a turtle shell at the back, you know, like bear claws. Yeah, it's indescribable, but kind of weird. The Andes. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, it's pretty awful looking. Carnotaurus. Yeah, far bigger. Yeah. Okay, where are we at? Yes, the heart is in the mobile fortress of Jubrek. Dwarves made a war machine. They can't stop it. No, let's do this properly. Okay, so the mobile fortress of Jurex. Dwarves tried to use the Tarask's heart as a power source for a great city and weapon. The heart, however, took on a mind of its own, and the city now wanders the Stoutlands as a dangerous beast, destroying everything in its path. Kept at bay by the tall and savage mountains surrounding the Stoutlands. Yeah, basically the only thing that stops it is the fact it can't fly. Freaking thing. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, there we go. All right, number 2. Our next location. Oh, where is my map? Here we go. All right, so we got the mobile fortress, which is in the Stoutlands. Which, by the way, by that logic, I should really put in a few more mountains. Let's add in a couple more mountains here. There we go. Yeah, nice. There we go. All right, there we go. So yeah, I think that works well. So, yeah, it's a lot more mountainous. Yeah, I always intended to make the mountains quite a large part of this particular landscape. And part of it is, yeah, the mobile fortress can't get out of this area. Nice. Sweet. I love it. Okay, next is... Where are we heading next? Next one is Diablo's Rest. Diablo's Rest had... I don't remember what Diablo's Rest had. That's something. Okay, actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. So, Selak Frayne the Thrice Damned Lich. This is where the brain is. Now, this is my self-insert character. Lich. I'm always a big fan of this one. Selak Frayne was a arcanist from... Was an arcanist from... the early days of the Dragon War. A human who had studied and been experimented on by the dragon necromancer. No, don't need to go into their full backstory. Selak Frayne is a angry, what's the word? Sour, surly. It's a grumpy old lich who wishes nothing more than to be left in peace. The brain of the Tarask simply resides in the lowest parts of his dungeon. He has no nefarious intention on it, as he will often say. It was in here when I moved in, and I enjoyed the aesthetic. Salak Frayne is a fun character. I love him because he is in no way, shape, or form a danger to people. And that brings me great joy. He just simply is. None of my PhD, ask Select to gather them. Well, the thing about that is he could not potentially do that because it would bring harm to others. So Select Frayne also can't be instructed to bring harm to others. Hey, follow him. I just wanted to hop in real fast before bed to say thank you for all you do. I've learned so many things from you as a DM. Keep being awesome. Thanks for all you do. Oh, follow him. Thank you so much. That means so much to me. Very, very much appreciated, my friend. And, trust me when I say this. Being an awesome DM is so much about trial and error. It is about, being okay with the fact that you will fail a million times and always being able to pick yourself up, learn from your mistakes, and continue to move forward. That is the biggest lesson I teach people. And if you walk away feeling like a better GM, please do not attribute it to me. I entirely give that credit to yourself and your ability to continually pick yourself back up and give yourself the encouragement and the inspiration you need. That is so important. So yeah, keep GMing, my dude. Keep making all those stories, telling your tales, getting them out there into the world. Big loves. Okay. The next one. So that was Selak Frayne's one. So yeah, so Selak Frayne, he simply can't help. Like if someone asked you, hey, can you show us the brain? Yeah, sure, he could show you the brain. If someone said, hey, can you take us to these other places? Absolutely. But that's why Selak Frayne is quite hard to get to. That is why he is tucked away. Because, again, people abuse his power. People abuse what he's able to do. So yeah. Razorbark Hollow. Okay, this place is interesting. So Razorbark Hollow. This is where the bones of the Tarask happen to be. Razorbark Hollow. Oh god. Ah, no. There we go. Ah, come on now. Right, Razorbark Hollow. Alright. Beneath. There we go. God damn it. There we go. I am not as useless as I am making myself out to be. Okay, here we go. Alright, beneath the long dead and abandoned village known as Razorbark Hollow. The bones of the Tarask were laid to rest. However, what could not have been predicted was how those bones would take a life of their own, creating a forest of pallid, white bone trees across the countryside. each connected to the bones of the Tarrasque. Actually, I didn't even need to say that. That's fine. So there we go. So that is Razorbark Hollow. So some fun facts here about Razorbark Hollow. Firstly, yeah, so in terms of the Tarrasque bones, they are here, trying to reach and trying to reassemble itself. So what they're doing is they are penetrating the snow, penetrating the ground, and reaching up to the sky. So that's just what these are. The bones are buried deep, so they're there, but, you know, that's just kind of it. The plants are very aggressive in the sense that they suck life force out of people. They drain blood. They're pretty messed up. Like the bone leaf fen is pretty messed up, just full on. The I guess the big important thing here is that to get all of the stuff, to get the Tarrasque's bones, you have to kind of really go deep into the dungeon beneath Razorbark and collect all the actual bones themselves. But this is kind of also the seat where a lot of undead came in as well. So the first vampire, for example, was staked through the heart by one of the branches of the bone leaf fen, and by doing so created the first vampire, which was cool. Hey, Christina, good morning. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome in. We're doing some world building. Talking about the great dungeons of Aulestria. Places where they had buried pieces of the Tarrasque in my world. And the Tarrasque was the forebearer of the monsters, otherwise known as the Feral in my world. So yeah. Okay, where are we at? So that was 1, that was 2, that was 3. Next is... where is it? Here we go. The Oozing Caverns. Which is the stomach. Alright, so the Oozing Caverns. Long ago, when the stomach was buried by the elder races of Aulestria, no one could... no, you know, gotta stop saying no one could have predicted. Unseen by their eyes was the bubbling of the volatile, what's the word? Caustic, the vicious caustic acid, which emerged and began to devour the world. Vicious acid. Stomach acid. Of the Tarrasque. However, by let's see. However, as mysteriously, however, the great mystery of the world is how the vast continent to the north, which disappeared under the sea of acid, was suddenly and instantly frozen, encased in ice at the top of the world. Boom. That is, some say, answers lay oozing caverns. Where the stomach still lies. Nice. Hey, welcome in Raiders from Squidodds. Sorry, let me try that again. Squizzards TTV. Welcome. Nice to see you. I am, what am I doing? I am doing some world building of my own homebrew world. We're just touching up on some of the timeline, the lore, the history and stuff like that. Yeah, it's been going pretty good. It's been good to kind of like reassess some of the stuff and the changes that have happened since I first started. And yeah, I am feeling super pumped and super positive about how everything's coming together. Long story short, I'll give you not a brief rundown of the whole thing, but just what we're working on right now. But if you have any questions at all about any aspect of my world, we've got like a little page which is like Twitch questions. So if anyone wants any questions, or if anyone has any questions, even if it's something obscure, just to challenge how much I know about my world, throw it out there and we'll answer it to the best of our ability. Now, in terms of where we're at, we're in the basic timeline currently in the age known as Tarrasque, where the Nameless One, a god of destruction, was really, really angry that the god of life was created in order to make the world full of life. The Nameless One turned to Iraldin and Iraldi, a twin god of knowledge, magic, and wisdom, to say, hey, listen, you know, what the hell? But was told, no, just have your faith in, you know, what's going on, trust the process, blah, 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 blah. But the Nameless One couldn't bear it, couldn't deal with it, and manifested on in the world, which was a rule against the gods. Like, basically, the gods had a series of rules known as the Codicillus Eternus, and by breaking this rule, lost his true name, and was named the Tarrasque by the people of Aulestria. The people of Aulestria fought, but didn't have the tools they needed to defeat the Tarrasque. So they prayed and prayed and prayed, and eventually 2 new gods were born, Bastille and Ronak, who are the gods of protection, family, and valor, and the god of battle and war and strength. But also, Iraldin and Iraldi, they heard the pleas of the people and gave magic to the people of Aulestria. Giving it to the elves and trusting them to distribute it, the elves kind of distributed a little bit of magic, but kept a majority of it for themselves, which is why elves became obsessed with magic. They have actually a kind of like almost a mania, as it were, obsessed over magic. But that's a whole other thing. They worked together and they killed the Tarrasque and then broke the Tarrasque's body apart because they couldn't really kill it. All they could do was defeat it and then rip its body apart, and they've separated it into 7 dungeons within Aulestria. Now, this one is a secret dungeon, so there's an actual secret, which I'm not going to reveal here, but there is a secret 7th location. But we'll go into that in a little bit. So we're just going over where these things are and what's involved. So the heart of the Tarrasque is in the mobile fortress Jubrek, which is a dwarven city that they tried to use the heart to power, but it went mad, and now it's running rampant in the Stoutlands. Where is it? It's over here. Boom, there it is. The brain of the Tarrasque is in the dungeon of Salak Frane, the thrice-damned Lich, who is a Lich who just has it there as decoration. We have the bones of the Tarrasque in the Razorbark Hollow, which is basically like all the trees in this area are basically the bones of the Tarrasque sticking out, or, you know, like sort of little appendages that have grown from the bones. The stomach, which we were just covering, is in the Oozing Cavern, which is up north and over here. Now, you can see that the top of my world is like a different color shade to the ice of the south. That is because the stomach acid escaped from there and started eating my world, but then it was frozen in ice. And no one knows how the ooze got frozen, only that it was. That's one of the big mysteries of my world. Alright, then number 5, we have... Let me just check this. 5, 6... I didn't put down some Diablo's Rest. It's 5 and Eclipse. Darkspire Mountain, that's right, okay. I didn't put any over here. Nope. Just checking where I put stuff. Okay. No. Cool. Okay, so 5 is in Diablo's Rest. Which is... oops, sorry. The Blood of the Tarrasque. So what do we have? We've got the blood, heart, brains, the bones, stomach. Oh, no. Sorry, this should be... Oh, okay. Originally, I had the mobile fortress powered by the lungs. That's right, I do remember now. But... what do you guys think? Should I make... okay. Should I make... the lungs in Diablo's Rest, which is a volcano right here, basically a never-ending volcano, or should I make the heart in that traveling city? Because one of them has to have the heart and the other has to have the lung. What do you guys think? Lungs in the traveling city, heart in the volcano. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that as well. Okay. Lungs in the mobile heart. Oh, sorry, in the mobile fortress, and heart in Diablo's Rest. Now I haven't built what's special about Diablo's Rest yet. Magma is pumping blood. Ooh, yeah, I definitely like that. So, in Diablo's Rest, because I haven't built Diablo's Rest too much. Love is unexpectedly powerful. That's true. Well, actually, there is another island called Desire Island, which is filled with raunchy, sexy, 90, R18 adult fun times. Look, there's even sexy mermaids. Yeah, basically it's a paradise island where succubus actually run a very profitable business. And it's all above board. They know there are succubus here, and they pride themselves on their services. But Diablo's Rest. I don't know what I'm gonna do with Diablo's Rest. Okay, maybe. Diablo's Rest is... okay. The Heart of the Tarrasque saw the birth of monsters with no emotion or sense of self. These feral creatures attacked in hordes, like white blood cells trying to fend off an infection. And that infection is life. To keep the world safe, the dragons through... Oh, cast. Aha! Cast the heart into a volcano, into an active volcano. And with it, poured the Everflame. No. There. And poured their draconic fire into its maw. So that the monstrosities that birthed from it would not survive the raging inferno. Ooh, I like that idea. So like the heart kept pumping blood out even after it was dead. Ooh, I love that. Yeah, I love that, Schoolia. That's perfect. I think that's gonna work super well. All right, and lastly, the carapace. All right, that's here. The Tarask met their end on a paradise island. No, on a lush and verdant island. Now a shell of its former self. The Tarasks body caused the island to collapse, giving it its unusual shape. Buried on the seafloor is the body of the Tarask. It pulls at its other pieces, waiting for the day it will reforge itself, reform. Boom, there it is. Now, here's a fun little trivia bit. Now, for those of you who are familiar with Tarask lore, a Tarask's carapace has the ability to rebuff or repel magic and spells. Because of this, it's actually poisoned the land here. And the black that you see there is actually a plague that is spreading throughout my world. It is basically an anti-magic plague that has infected people. So instead of having, and I know this is a very controversial subject, so please, if we are talking about this, understand that we are talking about this under the impression that we are intending to change a lot of elements to it, but we need to go from a starting point. So back in the day, a lot of races used to simply have the evil version of this race is black. So we had elves and we had the drow. We had the dwarves and we had the Durga. We had the gnomes and the Svirfneblin. We had so many different things, and simply being quote-unquote black was a bad thing, was evil, right? Now, that was the way things were. Things have changed. Lots of stuff is continuing to change. But we can't ever forget where we came from. We can't ever forget this thing. Otherwise, we don't know how to change for the better. So, the way I decided to approach the quote-unquote drow, Durga, Svirfneblin thing was not to create a separate race, but to talk about a plague that changes the coloration of these creatures. And it doesn't have any effect on their disposition of being good or evil, but simply gives them something that creates a certain amount of hatred or animosity to those who aren't of their affliction. And that is, of course, the people who have been afflicted by the Dusk Plague. The Dusk Plague is an anti-magic plague that basically turns you monotone in color. So either you'll be pure white or pure black, there'll be, or maybe some grays in between, but all of the color is immediately removed and stripped from anything that has been in contact with the black sands that surround these islands. They are also then completely unable to utilize magic. Now, this is a plague because wherever this black sand goes, it carries that anti-magic property with it as well. Yeah, albino. Well, I'd say albino, but albino is a genetic thing. This is literally like every bit of like that power and that magic that is in you has been stripped away, and that's kind of the nature of it. The thing is number one is Dusks, as they're referred to. The Dusk are not a race; they are a people. So the Dusk are people. It's like saying Australians, right? Where it's not a race, it's people. So the Dusk there are gnome Dusks. There are Dusk gnomes, Dusk elves, Dusk whatever. They are all Dusk. Originally, many of them were other other people as well. So they were like dwarves who then became infected. But many people were born on Dusk lands and thus there is no identity for them beyond the Dusk. So that's kind of how I've decided to hit with that. Now, one, as I said, the animosity that they have is that there is a quiet quarantine of their island. The Aquadians have basically said you can't spread this disease outwards. You will take magic from this world. You need to stay on your island. They don't like that. So there's a lot of animosity there. They also don't like the people that heavily rely on magic because they have been forced to use and learn and develop technology. So in my world, this is where a lot of things like the Warforged come from, as well as basically the like Warforged, like gunfire, gunpowder, mining. A lot of this stuff comes from Eclipse Island. And the thing is that they do try to trade and they do try to do what they can to get by, but they're just, very untrusting because people have been kind of mean to them. But they're not evil in no way, shape, or form. However, the evil guys who are over here in the Talvaron Empire, they have every intention of going over here and weaponizing the anti-magic stuff that they have. So there's a big old bad thing happening over there. But that's because these guys are assholes. The Talvarons are effectively my world's version of Nazis. They are the hyper, like, our empire is the greatest empire. All empires should be obliterated. But they're not racist. They are, however, they're like the Borg. They have suits of armor that they force people into that stab them with spikes that have spells and, like, anti-magic and stuff on them. And they basically enslave you. So that's pretty full on. So yeah, so that's how I've decided to treat that. And that's how I'm doing with that one. As for the 7th, which is a secret, I'm not going to go into what the 7th secret dungeon of Aulestria is. Just that there is one. So even if someone assembled all 6 pieces of the Tarrasque to it, you wouldn't get the last one until then. Okay. Alright, where are we at? Next. I should probably do this quickly because I should probably eat before my game today. Defeat the Tarrasque was not the end of all things. From each location, the Tarrasque's body and a great age of monsters arose from this, and people fell into despair. But hope was not gone from the world, as heroes began to emerge from the unlikeliest of places, and kingdoms began to form to battle against the endless tides of evil and violence. Coffee is a liquid form of food. That's That's not good. Okay, there we go. Boom. Okay. During the chaos of this age, quietly, with cold purpose, another moved to seize control of Aulestria. Another force moved to seize control of Aulestria. The dragons had learned the power, had learnt to tap into the power of true naming. Okay. So. This then goes into the Great Dragon War. Okay. Okay, here we go. So, this is probably a good place to put this. So, God of Death. This is more of a side story. Okay. Now get your tissues ready. This is actually a I don't know, maybe it's not as bad as I think it is. Okay. There we go. Okay. Here we go. I love your world. The anthem is head, fingers, knees, and yes, that's true. That's true. That'd be hilarious. Okay. Okay. The devastation of the Tarask was immeasurable. But it also taught Iraldi the need for someone to care for and safeguard the fallen and guide them into the world beyond. Among the Fae, among the elder races of Aulestria, none had a closer relationship with death than that of the Tooth Fairies. Or, as they were known at the time, the Bone Fairies. Tall, beautiful, enchanting creatures who sustained themselves on the bones of the dead. They would never kill. The queen of the bone fairies, Nibera, ensured that her people never killed for food and only took what only took those who were forgotten or uncared for. Seeing Nibera as a perfect candidate for the goddess of death, Iraldin and Iraldi sent an avatar to speak with the queen and present her with the offer of taking up the mantle as goddess of death. Not wishing to rush into this position. No, actually, we won't talk about that. After a long discussion, she finally agreed and was gifted a golden persimmon. Once consumed, she would attain her role as goddess. But fate would intervene in a unexpected and violent way. Her kingdom was attacked, or her people, should I say. Her people were attacked. Many killed, including the ravens that she held so dear. Ravens and bone fairies were considered good fortune and carers of the dead in equal part. Too late to save so many. She was plunged into despair. Until she heard the labored breathing of a raven. Survivor. The wounds were too vicious to heal by any means she had. So instead, she took a bite of the persimmon and fed it to the raven in hopes of transforming it into her familiar. But instead, a terrible laughter rang out as the raven shifted form and revealed itself to be none other than Oberon, Prince of the Fairy Court. He had orchestrated. He had heard of the deal with Iraldin and set a plan in motion to steal the power of death itself from Nibera, from Nibera's grasp. As his first act, he diverted death from all fairy kind. And reveled at the thought of what he could do with such power. Iraldi swiftly came to speak with the new god and presented an alternative offer. While none could take the power Oberon had, he would be able to trade it in exchange for becoming a god of tricksters. The offer was more than appealing. And no act of any god could change what he had done already. Nibera was granted the power of death, and her first act was to resurrect her people, not as bone fairies, but as reapers who would help her usher souls to the other side. With no corporeal form, to speak of. They travel the world and help those crossing over find peace. Okay. That is what happened to Nibera. She, so the tooth fairies, there are still some tooth fairies, but they're not common. Note. There are a few survivor tooth fairies, but no bone fairies were seen ever again. Boom. There we go. So yeah, she was basically tricked. This is probably one of my favorite stories. Okay, let's just change these. Yeah, what happened? Didn't want to work. There we go. That'll work. Ah, there it is. Okay. Didn't want to add all the color that I wanted. There we go. Done, done. That's here. That's there. Yeah, I just love the idea of the betrayal here. Hey, no worries. Thank you so much, Christina, for coming and hanging out. Please have a wonderful day at work. Hopefully we'll see you a little bit later. If not, please stay safe, stay wonderful, and I'm sure we will see you in time. Don't forget as well, next week we are back with our regular schedule, so we'll have all of our games up, and yeah, we'll be doing everything as per normal. So I'm very excited for that. We do have a game on in like a couple hours, and Friday should be okay, as well as Saturday, but you know, we'll have to see. Okay, done and done. Okay, so the Great Dragon War. Now, why do we talk about this? So, Oberon becoming the god of tricksters was the start of what would be a long and hard fought war against the people of Aulestria and the most powerful of the elder races, the dragons. Oberon taught the dragons. Oberon had learnt much. since becoming a god. In particular, the nature of true naming, a fact which he shared openly with what's his name? Artrax. What's his name? With the dragon. Artrax. They immediately began researching how to wield such power without being a god themselves, and found the secrets in the most unusual of places. A race of humanoids known the dragons, Artrax, and his fellow dragons created humans for the express purpose of being experiments to test their magics on. And those who survived would be enslaved to serve them. Would be enslaved. After many years, Artrax had done it. He had learnt the true name of dragons, and sacrificing a great many humans to do so, he transformed their people into giant reptilian I wouldn't say monsters. What's another word? Giant reptilian. Giant godlike reptilian creatures. He rallied the dragons to begin a campaign to take over the world they felt was rightly theirs. And an age of war began. Monsters, dragons, blood defined this age. And it wasn't until the liberation of humanity that the tides turned in the favor of the allied races. True name magic is forbidden because it requires the essence of soul to wield. Humanity was created with an abundance, born and bred to die for the use of this magic. Cinderfang, a great dragon who disagreed with Arthrax's campaign. Joined with the allied races in hopes of freeing humans and cutting off the dragon's supply of true name magics. But Cinderfang was caught. Cinderfang was forced to sacrifice himself so that the humans could escape. The other race, the humans could escape. Neither strong attuned to magic or capable of anything grandiose. It seemed that Cinderfang's sacrifice was for naught until a nameless hero who had learned the methods that the dragons used. Gave their own life, the lives of many volunteers, to cast one final true name spell. He gave names to the feral. Feral creatures, far and wide, began to see the world in a new light. Orcs, goblins, what are other monstrous races? Trolls. And more suddenly became more aware. Many fell back into their destructive paths, destructive ways, but others, enough of them, made a choice to stand with the allies against the dragons. other dragons, seeing the sacrifice that Cinderfang made, also joined with the allies against Arthrax. And together, we're able to overthrow him. The dragons vowed to atone for their sins by leaving the world of Aulestria. They had fashioned a prison between realms known as the Sunken Spire, and there they would stay. The Dragon Isles became forbidden, and the dragons were never seen in Aulestria again. Hey, Killer Koala, good to see you. Welcome, 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 welcome. All right, we're just doing a little bit of world building. We're just about to finish up, actually. I'm just about done with this, and then I can get me some grub. Ah, man, so hungry. Dragons. Okay, here's Ascent. The current age. The current age, as the world rebuilds and tries to forge a new destiny. Great powers and kingdoms collide across the world. It is a place where anyone can make their mark, for good or for evil. All right, there we go. That is our history. Oberon. Okay. Oh, whew, that took a little bit, but we made it. Also, there we go. Just make the formatting changes that we need to. Many of the feral races who didn't wish to see the end of conflict began to worship Arthrax, the Conqueror. So many that Iraldi offered the position of God of Tyrants to the dragon. A role he accepted with zeal and managed to avoid his imprisonment, but was still forced to abandon the Aulestria forever. So yep, so that dragon became my God of Tyrants. Cool. And then Hero's Descent is the current age. So that's where we're at. Cool. Woo! Basic timeline done. Future timeline. Dust covers the world. Don't worry about that. This early in the morning, Avatar Dag putting his hand up for every word is funny. Good. I'm glad. Okay. File. Save. All right. I got my basic timeline done. Woo! All right. Let's just also make this noted. Updated. Okay. Sweet. So I'll need to update the rest of these, and then I can keep doing some world building. I could keep, yeah, I hopefully want to keep world building, keep moving stuff forward. That is for certain. And then as we go through, hopefully, I'll have all this stuff ready to go and maybe even put into World Anvil, and that'll be a lot of fun too. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for joining us and coming and hanging out today. I'm Koala. I'm sorry that you only came in towards the end, but that's okay. I still relish having you here and getting to spend a little bit of time. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, whatever you happen to be doing. We'll be back in about 2 hours or so, something like that, as we get ready to do our Wednesday night game, where you'll get to see my pretty face doing stuff. And, yeah, we'll get to do some cool things. In the meantime, let's raid GM Workshop. He's playing some Baldur's Gate. We can go hang out with Rackham for a little bit before we get into the game later on tonight. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being a part of the show. Stay safe. Stay wonderful. Be kind to each other because why the hell not? It's free. And until we meet again, as always, from us to you, game hard or die trying. Good night, folks.